Okay, hello everybody. I am back with Kim, and we are having our third conversation today about body image and self image. So,
Mm.
once again, I'm Erica Rood. I am a life coach for parents, teen girls, and young adult women. And Kim, go ahead and introduce yourself.
And I'm Kim Muench. I am the founder of Real Life Parent Guide, and I specifically coach moms of adolescents. So those kids between the ages of 10 and 25.
Yeah. So, Kim and I come together to share our expertise and talk about some common challenges that we hear from parents that Kim coaches and from the teen girls and young adult women that I talk to regularly. And today's topic of body image and self image is something that relates to everyone,
Mhm.
especially to women. Kim and I were talking about this before we started recording, how I think every single person has a story of a struggle with appearance, with self-image and body image. So
Yeah.
I think what we're going to talk about today is just so important. It's so universal, and hopefully you'll walk away with some ideas for how you can support your teen in cultivating a healthy sense of self and a positive body image.
Right. And I had said that I had a story I wanted to share. And I think specifically it does relate to body image, self image, and social media, quite frankly. So a couple of years ago, I was going on a photo shoot, and my daughter was 11 at the time. And of course, had recently gotten her phone and gotten on social media, Instagram specifically. And I asked her to come along with me because she likes to take pictures. And, I just thought it would be kind of fun for us to do this. So we went to the studio. And of course, she helped me drag in some props. I had books and whatnot that were going to be, in the picture with me. And she sat there and she learned a lot and she absorbed a lot during the photo shoot. And of course, about a week or 10 days later, I got the proofs. And so I invited her into my office to look at the proofs on the computer. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, mom, you look amazing." Which was like, okay, I said, so what I said to her was, "You know what I look like that day, right?" And I I guess the point of my story was, she was like, this is unbelievable the way you look in this picture," which was true. It was unbelievable the way I looked. She saw me that day. I said, "Remember that day? It was hot and sweaty, and like I looked pretty good that day, but I did not look like this. This is the magic of what happens with camera and angles and lighting and touch up." So I just want you to understand that when you're looking at social media and you're looking at these models and things, that they don't always necessarily look like that, and I think it was a helpful lesson for her at the beginning of her getting her phone and seeing all these celebrities and people that, always look perfect, when, there's a lot that can be done to amplify the way someone looks.
Absolutely. That's such an important lesson in real time for you. And you highlight something that is one of the biggest triggers of a negative self image, and that is comparison with this picture perfect image that is so prolific on platforms like social media. I know from a lot of girls that I coach, they fall into what I call the compare and despair, which is, they get sucked into something like Instagram and they start seeing all of these pictures of people who have what looks like a perfect life and a perfect body and perfect skin and everything. And then they instantly start to feel badly about themselves. So, it's so important to highlight, as you did, Kim, what goes into those images. And you got to do it from your personal experience and also show your own vulnerability too, by just saying, hey, like, you see me on the regular, and that's not what I look like, in these images. And as parents, I think it's so important to just point that out, and start to talk with your teen as early as possible on all that goes into, the perfect image behind the scenes.
Right.
Dove Real Beauty campaign actually
Mm,
has a great video. I used to share it in my mother-daughter yoga classes often, and it shows, in kind of fast forward time, what goes into a photo shoot and how one person's image is completely transformed. So,
yes.
the more you can expose your teen to that and just have these deep and honest conversations, it's so important.
Right. And then not to, and this can be hard too, because especially as teenage girls, they're really focused on what they look like and wanting to fit in. And I think as mothers, as parents, it's important for us to be aware of how we're projecting, what's important. Even talking about food and what we eat and how much we eat, that can be very triggering for moms and daughters. And I think it's one of the ways that we really identify with ourselves as whether or not we're attractive and healthy, or what it means to be, what that truly means to be attractive and or healthy. And I think the other thing that I've coached parents on at times is helping them see their child see the characteristics that make them beautiful, as opposed to the different aspects of their physical body, but really more their character, the kindness, the friend that they are to other people, the willingness to help other people, right?
Yeah, I'm smiling because I just wrote a blog on inner beauty, which is all about those qualities, the inner qualities that truly shine on the outside and make a person beautiful. So that's actually going to be shared next week on my website. But you also mentioned two really important things for parents to do, which is model healthy body talk. Be mindful of how you talk about yourself in front of your teen, or even when your teen's not watching, because she's probably listening. Be aware of how you're talking about things like food, or even how you're talking about other people, because all of these are, they add up to formulate a definition in your teen's mind of what beautiful is, and
Mhm.
and also, where the emphasis lies, if it is on external appearance or if it is on those internal qualities. And the other thing you mentioned that I think is so key is to, define what beauty means. Really explore the concept with your teen, because I think, beauty does mean the inside and the outside, but we don't often talk about that. It's
Right.
usually just, you've got the perfect hair, the perfect skin, the perfect body, all of that. And, we forget to really dive into, you're a beautiful person when you treat someone else with kindness, when you
Mhm.
you know are true to yourself, right? Those are the things that really, really shine. I
Yeah.
often think about, and this is again a story I think so many of us can relate to, when we see someone from a distance and think, oh, she just looks amazing, she's so beautiful. And then you get to know the person, and if she doesn't have a beautiful personality, if maybe she's rude or she's self-centered, suddenly her outer beauty fades.
Yeah.
Right? And the opposite is true, right? You can meet somebody who maybe at first you think, oh, she's average or whatever. You might judge some physical quality, but as you get to know her, her kindness, her generosity, her authenticity, those are all things that really create a beautiful person. So,
Absolutely.
define that with your teen and let it be kind of an evolving conversation. Because I think that, as your teen evolves, this is something we mentioned in a previous conversation, right? To calibrate with your teen. As your teen is evolving, so is her understanding of concepts like beauty and self image and inner beauty.
Love that. Absolutely love that. I love the idea of being really aware as a parent, again, of what you're saying, of what you're projecting. And if you're struggling with that, make sure that you get the help that you need to to help your own, body image, and so that you're not inadvertently projecting that onto your child.
Yeah.
And
And
point
that's
out when
something
they're
that
being
you do a
beautiful.
lot of, right, Kim?
Right, right. And also point out when you could even say when you see your daughter being particularly kind or has done something, very nice for a friend, maybe even say, gosh, that's beautiful. Like use the word beautiful not related to the physical appearance, but to other things in their lives that are beautiful.
Yep, that's so key. So important as they're developing that understanding of beauty. Yeah. And I think, before we wrap up, another thing that we should touch on is just what parents can look for as kind of warning signs that maybe the critical body image is going to turn into something more serious, because that is another danger when you are parenting a teen who maybe is hyper critical of herself. Sometimes that can lead to more serious conditions like eating disorders, even depression. So if
Yeah.
you're noticing that there's a sudden change in how your teen is experiencing food, if she suddenly starts to restrict calories or maybe
Clothing.
limit certain foods from her diet, that's something to just pay attention to. And
Mhm.
also, the self-talk that you hear. If there's
Yeah.
a strong emphasis on, I'm so fat or I want to lose weight, and just to, really be tuning in to those things. And if you can, bring someone on like a coach or a therapist, even to just help your teen understand new ways to look at herself and talk to herself. I know
Yeah.
that's a big part of my practice is, teaching teens some new and more positive ways to talk about themselves, and
Mhm.
talk to themselves about themselves.
Right, right. And the other thing I would add to that is their clothing, in terms of are they wearing, first of all, is their taste in clothing changing? Are they wanting to cover up more? Are they, just kind of paying attention to that? Or, the opposite of that, are they wearing much less than they would typically wear? And just, becoming aware of the changing, of course, kids' style most definitely changes over the teen years, but just being kind of queued up to if your child is like covering themselves up more, or like you said, really changing what's on their plate and or how often they're eating. These are two really important, I think, things to tune into.
Absolutely. Yeah. And as always, if those of you watching have questions, you can always contact me or Kim. I'm available via email, erica@inspirebalance.com. My website's inspirebalance.com. And Kim, why don't you share how people can reach you?
You can reach me at realifeparentguide.com.
Perfect. So again, I specialize in working with teen girls and young adult women. And Kim specializes in working with moms of adolescents.
Mhm.
So we're here to support you, and it's such a pleasure. These conversations have been so fun, Kim. So I
Thank
hope we can plan another series of 3, and we'll do a lot more to spread the word and just bring some extra resources and support for parents and for teens.
Much needed. Thank you, Erica.
All right. Thanks everybody for watching.